Look at all you lucky boys and girls on the second channel that have had 2 videos in 2 days. Mad, I know. They're kind of similar as well, right? Doing Gungeon and then Isaac. But I figured I'd go back to doing a warm-up video, sort of like every day. RimWorld used to be my warm-up video, and now it's the most popular series on the main channel. So, feels a bit rude doing that one as the warm-up first. So we're going to go back to this. I'm not promising KOTOR 2 or anything, but I feel like it's on the cards. Let's put it that way. Plus KOTOR 2, we can sort of modify a little bit, and it won't break horribly like the original KOTOR did when I tried playing that. Anyway, Binding of Isaac, for those of you who don't know, is a top-down roguelike twin-stick shooter, sort of reminiscent back to original Legend of Zelda. Now I'm talking original Legend of Zelda, when that was sort of a room-clearing boy with the sword, and it didn't really have any story or anything like that. So anyway, you'll sort of get it as we go, but I'm not going to talk about like advanced Isaac meta, because honestly I don't know it, because I haven't played this game in about 2 years. I'm not going to talk about any sort of like super strat, but I'll basically just explain the game as we go. So for those of you who haven't seen it before, I'll keep it simple, but I did used to play this like competitively and do pretty well as well. So there's some of my top results on Twitter or some shit if you're interested. I'm not going to dig them up and find them, but they're there somewhere. One thing I will point out though, wow, since I stopped playing, there have been 5 new micro DLC called booster packs, none of which I have much experience with at all. I've played a couple of runs here and there over the past however long since they've started coming out. Besides that, I've, like I said, absolutely no experience with these boys. But Isaac is Isaac, you know, it's all basically muscle memory at this stage anyway, so I'm pretty sure I'll do all right. Now, last time I tried playing this game, the doorbell went halfway through, and then when I came back to it, I got murdered. So I'm going to hope that this time we're fairly uninterrupted, and I can actually finish a run this time around. I don't know if that video's still up on the channel, probably it's somewhere, right? Mainly because I don't really care about quality control on this channel, because anything can go up on it, and it doesn't really bother me. And that's the point of it. This is like the other shit channel for other shit series. I really want to play The Witcher as well, but I'm sort of apprehensive to do it on stream, because I know that there are some, like, just basically full-on boobs in that. So, I'm not sure how Twitch think about it. I'm going to have to look at, like, Twitch policy. I've been saying this for a while, but we'll take a look at some stage. I know there's another enemy, but I'm going to start preemptively clearing these fires, because we've got a key. And I'm going to... I like playing Isaac a little more risky, you know? It's a risk-reward game, and let's roll the dice. You know what, honestly, there you go, that's probably worth it. Now, there's a good argument for not taking that after the boss. So that item there, you can open up gold chests with keys, right? But you also need keys to get into certain other rooms, like item rooms and shops. Well, item rooms past the second floor. Past the first floor. I'm starting on the second floor. But, you know, it's about finding whether or not do you want to open those gold chests, because sometimes they can be absolute shite. We got fairly lucky. We got an item that allowed us to fly there, so that was actually very, very good. We've got an active item, so that was a passive item that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen there. Those don't take many slots. You can carry as many of those as you like, I believe. I don't think there's any hard limit in the game. There are some other weird mechanics around there, but again, I'm not going to talk about, like, you know, breakfasting or any hardcore Isaac meta like that. So there is active items as well. You can see that in the top left-hand corner there. So your active item you get charges on, which you would sort of denote by the little black bars on the green bar. Each one of those charges takes 1 room to refill. So for the D6, I'd have to clear 6 rooms, or 3 large rooms. Large rooms count for 2 charges each, or a mixture of whatever. But essentially, I've just got to charge it back up before I can use it again. Now, the D6, which is Isaac's active item, each character has their own active item, with the exception of, I believe, Azazel and Cain, but I don't remember. I might be wrong on that. All of these characters have an active item, and so obviously they all have different effects, and you can pick up more active items from rooms and whatnot, from item rooms, not from bosses, though. You can from the Deal with the Devil. That's something we'll talk about in a minute. And then along with that, you can see that we've got money. That's what that tiny little coin is supposed to be, just below the D6. And then there's bombs and then keys in that order. So bombs, very similar to Legend of Zelda. You can blow up. So that's an active item. It's actually a very good active item, but we don't want it right now. I'll show you what it does. So, the D6, I'll just finish explaining that first. You can re-roll items. So say you find an active or a passive item you don't want, you can re-roll it into a new item, or just randomly. Depending on the room type as well. So if we go into a devil deal, we can re-roll it into other devil items. If it's a shop item, we can re-roll it into other shop items. Anyway, this one's actually very good because it still allows you to fly around and shoot tears, but your body attacks as a separate entity entirely. You don't take damage if your body is hit, so it's very, very good. Unfortunately, in this situation, we don't really want it, so we can re-roll that. Spider Bite isn't particularly great either, so there is this machine up in the corner, which is essentially a Temporary D6. Oh, that was also a tinted rock, and I didn't even notice. Oh, you know what? I bet it was a double tinted rock. So there are rocks that are a slightly different color or have slightly different markings to regular rocks. If you blow them up with a bomb, they drop hearts or bombs. So now we've got, you see there up in the health bar, there are 3 blue hearts. Those are spirit hearts. It's essentially armor. They're temporary hearts that disappear permanently when you hit. Red hearts, you can pick up other, as you can see on the map there, we've got a lot of other red hearts. I still don't want this item. So Spider Butt is good. I should have picked it up first. Oh, fine, we'll go for that. Why the hell not? Spider Butt is another active item that basically slows down enemies. You web them up or something, I assume is... Oh, God, it's this room. Supposed to be the thought behind that one. Right, I'm going to get hit here because I want to get out. I don't know if we can fall down that holes with flight. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it too much anyway. I'm almost certain that we can. There were pills in there. Pills were a bit risky. They were sort of nerfed in one of the more recent patches before I stopped playing. So we're going to go to the shop just to show it off, mainly. But also because you can get occasionally a lucky shop, which is just a shop with some lucky coins in it. So what we're going to do is bomb the shit out of this until it blows up. And that, I think, gives us some money, but I don't entirely remember. So, besides that, what else did I want to explain? Oh, so we've got another item there as well. Another heart, sorry, which is that sort of half red, half silver heart. That half red, half silver heart, when we go down a floor, will turn into another red heart, basically. So we'll have 4 red hearts. That item there is a battery which will fully recharge us, which is the whole reason I was happy to do my recharge earlier. So that gives us just whatever your active item is, it will give you a full recharge. There are a couple of... There's literally like 2 items that it doesn't apply to, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. So we picked up that passive item, which means we no longer shoot tears, we shoot rockets instead. It's commonly considered one of the best items in the game. There are some other things you can pick up. So items synergize as well. We are going to take this. Yeah, why not? We're going to take super advantage. There are some other items that synergize with it. However, the downside to it is some of them can be fairly dangerous, but some of them... Because if you can blow yourself up with these as well. I am not immune to missiles by any stretch of the imagination. So we've got an absurd amount of HP now. Now, if you look down at the stats bar in the bottom left-hand corner there, first things first, you can see that sort of red pentagram. That just means we're in hard mode, which means enemies do more damage. You get more champion enemies, which do more damage. Things like that. Don't worry about it too much. Right, so this is where Epic Fetus, the weapon we picked up, is not too ideal. Rooms with lots of enemies that move fast, because we can only put down those missiles. I mean, obviously, clearly not very quick. Great against bosses, because it does a lot of very concentrated damage. But against rooms with a lot of enemies in, it's going to get pretty overwhelming, unfortunately. Anyway, so, besides hard mode, below that are all of our stats. Now, this is something you can toggle on and off. I like having it on, because I like knowing exactly what's happening with our character, essentially. So we've got 1 speed. That's the standard speed for most Isaac characters. I believe there are a couple of exceptions to that. A couple of characters are slower. 1 is slightly faster or something like that. The next one is range, so that's how far your tears fly. That's now irrelevant for us because we have Epic Fetus, which means our missiles fly to wherever the hell we line them up with on the screen with the crosshair. The next one below that is tears stat, so that's how fast you fire tears. Now for the missile, it just means that the missile takes longer to actually drop when we put it out like that. So that's a good thing. That's only a good thing to get that. You want to get that as low as possible. The higher the tear stat, the slower your tears are. It's tears delay is the official is the actual term for it. So obviously the lower the delay, the better for your shot speed. Now one thing we should be doing with Epic Fetus while we're on the subject of I don't quite finish my bomb diatribe there, is you can blow up certain rooms, and there will be secret rooms through the other side which have generally treasures, that type of thing. So generally they spawn in between, there you go, right there, 2 other rooms. So, like this one, for example, is very good, because now we can blow up all these mushrooms and see what treasures they have inside. You want to be careful not to stand too close to these, because they will blow you up. So there's another type of item that I didn't talk about, and that's a trinket. You can only hold 1 trinket at a time. There are certain passive items that let you carry more than 1 trinket, but this trinket is Liberty Cap, which gives us a random effect of mushroom passive items. So there are quite a few mushroom passive items in the game. This will just give us a random one. We actually get to see where the boss is right now as well, thanks to Liberty Caps, giving us a little bit of an indication there. And that only lasts a room as well, I should point out. So this one we got Mini Mush, which makes us smaller, but our range is lower. And you can see that that's now reset because we didn't get that one on this room. So Liberty Cap isn't great, I'll be honest with you, but it's also not terrible, you know. It has more benefits than drawbacks, so I generally will just take that for an empty slot, or rather than an empty slot. Right, what did we... Oh, I missed the item room, you fool. Right, let's go back to the item room. Very quickly grab whatever's in there. I really should have gone into the item room first, used our reroll on whatever is in the item room, and then cleared the rest of the floor. I don't know why I didn't go in there. I think I was too busy explaining stuff. Satanic Bible is good, just gives you a single black heart, but we don't particularly want to keep it with us because the D6 is still better. I'm going to try and save my reroll for the deal with the devil we've got coming up, because we're basically guaranteed to get that unless I do something nuts. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking up active items and then putting them back. What that does is it removes them from the item pool. It basically tells the game, hey, you've had this item before, don't show him this item again, even though we haven't got it right now. That's Ares. That increases speed, which I'm not too concerned about because we've got the ability to fly. So if enemies are going to catch us... Bob's Brain. Okay, that's terrible. Bob's Brain is terrible for the same reason that... Okay, so we got... what mushroom is this that reduces shot speed? I don't remember. But basically, we've got a shot speed up right now. So you can see that the missiles are dropping very, very quickly. Or, not shot speed, sorry, tears stat, the third one. So that's fairly nice. Anyway, let's try it in here, see what we've got. A mini-boss. We've got Greed. Now, this isn't a true mini-boss, because this is just something you can randomly find in here, although we did get his item. So, there are several mini-bosses as well, which are generally represented by the Deadly Sins. There are a couple of exceptions to that as well, but they're generally all the Deadly Sins. So that one was regular Greed. There's also super versions of them as well, and there's also Ultra Greed, which is the boss of Greedy mode, but that's a whole separate game mode. We got very, very lucky with this room, because not only did we get 2 golden poops that generally give you an abundance of cash, if I can actually break this other one. There we go. They give you an abundance of cash. We also got Steam Sale. So Steam Sale gives you 50% off all of the items in the shop, which I'd love to go to. I actually genuinely would, because we'd be able to buy basically everything. The downside is we don't have any keys. So what could we do then? There could be a second secret room with keys, which is most likely going to be here. It was. Okay. Let's take a look. We got Black Heart, which is fine. Look at our HP, nuts. So the other system that I haven't talked about in the bottom right-hand corner, as you can see, our trinket is in the bottom left, our card. So you get playing cards as well in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, some of those are just regular old suit cards, or some of them are... Oh, I just blew myself up. I didn't realize our shot speed was quite as good as it was. Trying to be cheeky, essentially. Anyway, Monstro is going to take no time at all to kill here. Now, along with, you get regular playing cards that all have separate effects. So, like the two of clubs, for example, doubles your bombs. The 2 of spades gives you, doubles your keys. The ace of spades turns all the items on the floor, so you'll be able to turn that into a key as well. Things like that. Hearts does the same for your hearts. We don't really want that. What have we got in here? Duality and Gimpy. So, these are both good items for showing off game mechanics. So, I'm going to take Duality. Now, this is a deal with the devil. If you don't take any red heart damage for the floor, well, if you take red heart damage on the floor, it lowers your deal with the devil chance to 30%. If you get hit during the boss fight, it lowers it down to essentially 0. There are a few caveats to that. There are items that can also increase your deal with the devil chance. But because we took no red heart damage, we took no damage at all besides the time I blew myself up because I'm a fool. Anyway, we want both of those. So the first time we picked up there, the sort of black and white circle is called Duality. Duality, I'm going to go back and re-roll. I'll re-roll the boss room item. They tend to be better than item room items anyway. Fine. We'll take it. Duality lets you access devil deals and angel deals. So if you don't take a devil deal, if you refuse it, and then continue to not take red heart damage, you get angel deals, which were, during the time I played, generally considered worse than devil deals. I'm not sure if that still holds true. So, alongside, as I was saying with the whole card system, alongside playing cards, there are also the whole set of tarot cards. So right now we have Temperance. Temperance spawns a Blood Bank. Now, Blood Bank is actually going to be very, very good for us. I'm saving it for now because it isn't immediately useful. I'm looking for an arcade, which is a unique room, which I'll talk about if we find one. Temperance basically spawns a Blood Bank that lets you trade half a red heart for 1 or potentially 5 coins if you get lucky and get like a nickel or maybe even a dime. So that's very good for us because we're not using our red hearts as HP. So right now they're just basically going to waste, right? Or specifically, we're never going to use them as HP if I play as you should. And we've also got a load of red hearts just lying on the floor. So it is essentially money that we're just leaving lying around right now. But we'll talk about why I'm saving it later on. Besides that, there are also some other MISC cards. So this game's creator is a big fan of Magic the Gathering, right? So there are some Magic the Gathering cards. Ancestral Recall, I believe, is in there. Giant Growth, I believe, is in there that just makes you bigger and gives you 4 damage, unsurprisingly. Chaos card, if you've ever played very early Magic, which is where you would literally a Magic the Gathering card, and this is why I love Magic the Gathering rather than a lot of other trading card games. I've played a few, but Magic still, I think, has got to be my favorite out of all of them. Magic has some weird mechanics. Every set they introduce some big weird mechanics. We're going to go in here first because we can probably buy a key from here. So this is an item that was half price anyway. With Steam Sale, it's taken it down to 3 cents because they're normally 15. That goes halved and then round down to 7, and then that gets halved and obviously round down to 3. Hive Mind is good because it means any friendly spiders or flies we get are made larger and do double damage. So what's this card? 2 of Hearts, like I was talking about, just gives us double hearts. Now, that is probably a good time to use the Temperance Blood Bank here. So, let's start getting ourselves a little bit of money. Oh. Wasn't expecting that. This was the reason I was actually saving it. So, when you play the Blood Bank enough, there's a chance every time you play it, it has an increased chance of exploding into one of 2 items. Either the this thing, the Blood Bag, or into another item called the IV Bag. IV Bag is a spacebar item. You press space, it uses up red heart. It's basically a portable blood bank. This one gives you a bonus speed and 1 red health. No, I don't want any more red health because there's a downside to having too much red health during the late game, which I'll talk about when we get there. But for now, I'm going to take it anyway. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to play it more than that and then pop the 2 hearts, double our hearts back up and keep playing it and get a bit more gold out of it before it exploded. But I guess not. Anyway, the reason I went to the shop first is so we could buy a key and then come into this room anyway. I don't know how that works. So this is tractor beam. Normally when you fire, your tiers have momentum. So if you're moving up and fire a tier, that tier will also move up. However, with tractor beam, they just move straight. They'll stay forward because it basically straps a mask to your face that aims in a particular direction. How does it work with this? I think it doesn't do anything. So basically, that was a wasted item. I should have re-rolled it. I just wanted to check. So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played in several patches, so I don't know if they've added any more mechanics. What was I talking about? Anyway, yeah, Magic the Gathering is probably my favorite trading card game, and they've added a bunch of weird mechanics like that, but Chaos card, which is what I was talking about, now I've reminded myself, is a weird Magic the Gathering card, right, where it's no longer legal, because you kind of see why, because it's a dumb mechanic, but basically, this card, you stand, something like, you stand up and flip the card 3 foot above the table, and then any other cards it touch are destroyed. Which is just obviously dumb. Now, in Isaac, you can basically, as you're running, throw this card and it will follow momentum. Oh my god, that's too much red hearts. That's ridiculous. You can throw the card and it will carry through momentum like tiers do. And if it hits anything, they'll die. We have too much HP. This is obviously very much a first world problem. I can't believe that. And then, of course, we have the pills as well. Pills have random effects, essentially. Because we can fly, that's a curse room. So normally you take damage going in. Ooh, that was my mistake. Going in and going out. However, because we can fly, you only take damage on the way out. It's just you take half damage for whatever reason, some mandatory effect there. Anyway, well, I think we've been hit twice this entire run, haven't we? Which probably explains why A, we've got so much HP, but B, why we've got a lot of red hearts as well. Sorry, spirit hearts. I'm doing better than I thought I would, I'll be honest with you. I was kind of expecting to get wiped out. I thought there'd be a lot more, you know, enemies, that type of thing. Isaac, I always say it. During the early game, you need to know how to play, so it's all about the movement. And oh my god, these health up pills are going to kill me. Okay, are you a wizard? Is terrible, because that normally means your tiers fly out at different angles. But for us, it's still the same, because we've got guided tiers. Health down, thank you. That is great news. 10 out of 10. Okay. What was I talking about? I've forgotten. Yeah, I was kind of supposed there to be a lot more mechanics that would trip me up, but I guess not. I guess it's still the same old Isaac. And again, like I was saying, the early Isaac, when you first pick the game up, is very much about learning movement and enemy movements, that type of thing. When you've got good at that aspect of things, it's very much just the game then becomes 90% knowledge and then 10% knowing how enemies move. Because it's fairly simplistic. Well, that was dumb. So apparently it's fairly simplistic. It says he takes damage from Gertie. It's fairly simplistic compared to Enter the Gungeon. And from what I can tell so far in terms of enemy movements and attacks and things, I don't want any more HP. No! Stop this madness in the name of your king. We're going to go and open. What the fuck? I need a battery charge. Getting a battery charge from what's left of the floor is going to be difficult. I'm also wasting a lot of time. So, you know what? Let's fuck it. Let's not worry about it. We've got enough damage. Let's move on. If you manage to get to certain floors within a certain time limit, you'll also unlock other bonus rooms and bonus floors and things like that. So I'm actually going to try and get those. Do not. There's a reason I don't want red hearts. I'll peel it back a little bit. When you get past the 6th floor of the game, you pick up an item called the Polaroid, which determines how the rest of the game is played. It determines what route you take from there on. Oh, a thame is good. Or a theme. I actually don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's... Is it a theme? It's Celtic, either way, but I don't remember how it's pronounced. So, essentially, you pick up either the Polaroid or the negative. Now, those only have effects when you have no red hearts. So... It offers temporary invincibility whenever you're hit, if you have no red hearts, for a few frames. Not too long, but enough for it to be very much worthwhile. And then the Polaroid does damage whenever you're hit with no hearts. So the Polaroid is better, plus we generally take the Polaroid anyway, because that's a better game route, in my opinion, the more fun of the game routes. And both of them offer essentially what is the same ending. Anyway, I wanted to get the hit there, so a Thama, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So what that does is it shoots a black ring. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the second effect. That shoots a black ring. And if that black ring touches and kills enemies, there's a small chance that you can get black hearts out of it, which is quite fun. And obviously, black hearts are the same as the spirit hearts. There are like 5 different types of heart now, but I don't remember them all. So there's spirit hearts, there are eternal hearts, there are black hearts. Black hearts, when you take damage, they pop, and very similar to spirit hearts, they don't come back. But they do damage to everything in the room, which is obviously very nice. Now, this is a tricky room with Dot's Fetus just because of how slow it is. Sorry, Epic Fetus, because of how slow it is. Alright, there we go. We seem to be doing alright now. Oh, please. It's just about getting lucky, unfortunately, with the initial missile drop. We done? Oh, there's one more. God damn it. Get out of here. Okay, we're good. Alright, now, another mechanic of the game are curses, right? One of the curses is Curse of the Lost, and honestly, probably my most hated curse in the goddamn game. It can randomly pick from 6 curses, something like that. I don't entirely know off the top of my head. So this is Curse of the Lost. It means you lose your map. There's also things like Curse of the Blind, where you can't see what items you're going to pick up. So you can end up picking some real dogshit items with that and basically ruining your run. Because not all items are good. I should point that out as well. Some items are genuinely a massive detriment to the run. We've got Curse of Lost, which is horrible, especially, I believe in speedrunning, in fact, they disable this curse through some sort of modding witchcraft, just because it's massively unfair. If 2 people are speedrunning and one of them gets a Curse of the Lost, it's basically like, you know, just a very much unfair RNG there in favor of the other person. Well, competitive speedrunning, I should say, not if you're just doing regular speedrunning, like by yourself. But for when it's player versus player, it's just not entirely fair. Now, these are another enemies that suck with Epic Fetus. They pop up essentially pseudo-randomly, but it's after they've moved a little bit, and after you're not facing them, they will pop up and drop and shoot some things at you there. But if you shoot them, they're immune to bombs first and foremost. They're also immune to regular bullets. If you shoot them too much, they just retract in their shell, and then they take even longer to pop up. So kind of a pain in the ass there. Anyway, this is going a lot easier than I thought it would be. Been hit like 3 times. One of those was me testing an item, so I think we're good. Alright, so if we'd have got to the 6th floor within 20 minutes, which we haven't because I've spent a lot of time standing still and talking, but it's very easy to do. You unlock something called Boss Rush, which lets you fight most, if not all, bosses in the game. Most bosses in the game in hindsight. Which, Hangman is pointless, just lets you fly. Which, essentially, you pick 1 of 4 items, and you fight all of them, and you get another item at the end of it. So it's like a treasure room that's really quite difficult, essentially. I normally like to try and do it because you get a choice of 4 things, so it's very good, especially if you've got the D6, because you can reroll all 4 of those things and get a real choice of items. Mongo Baby is a companion. He'll follow me around. He'll fly behind me and shoot bullets. He's not very good, though. $3 bill. That's the type of madness I'm looking for in this run. So it says Rainbow Tears. It'll actually just give you... I want to pick this up as well, seeing as we've got way too much HP. So you press the space bar. It'll trade a heart in exchange for a charge on your item. Full charge, by the way. Anyway. Oh, this is good. This is where the run's really going to start to pop off. Because we have a load of cash, and we have just an absolutely incredible amount of gold right now. So we picked up School Bag there. Now, this is an item I've never used before. It says extra active item, so I can only assume it allows us to carry a secondary active item, which, again, I've never used before. Fortunately, none of the items in these rooms are any good. Like, they're all pretty terrible, so we'll come back to that later on. Assuming I can find my frigging way back here. Where have I not been so far? Help me. This is going to be like a 40-minute run by the time I'm done as well, so strap yourself in. Especially because of all them. Like I said, if I ever play this again, I'm not explaining the mechanics again, so if people are lost, I'll just direct them to this video, because the mechanics are fairly straightforward. So I should point out, we have a $3 bill. $3 bill in regular Isaac just makes your tears have random effects. Some will shoot fire, as we see there. Some will shoot poison, as we see there. Some will, you know, some will do double shots. Some will do other weird stuff. So this could also end up killing us just as much as it kills our enemies, because we might occasionally get something like quad shot, which will put out 4 different crosshairs, and it's very difficult to not run into them by yourself. I don't know what that does, so I'm going to ignore it. Oh, shit, I thought I'd get him in one then. I was going to be really cocky then and say good fight, and then failed. Okay, what have we got here? Addicted. Addicted is bad, just means you take, I believe, double damage for that room, but I don't remember. Again, it's a lot about Isaac I don't remember, so I'm not really the best guy to watch if you're trying to learn the game. Well, especially, this is back where we started, my guy. You can also blow those up for pills, by the way. I think all our pills are terrible, though, aren't they? Yep, they are terrible. Okay. Where do we go? I And this is exactly why Curse of the Lost is horrible. Another reason to have lower red hearts, you can get to these bosses. These are other boss rush rooms, but you only have to fight 3 bosses rather than every boss. You generally get, like, good chests from those as well. Where the fuck do we go? Where do we go now? This one? Hey, there we go. Where we haven't been before. Whoops. We're good. Nothing to worry about. We're getting that heart back. Been hit, what, 5 times now? It's kind of shameful. There have been runs I've got through without taking any damage. It's just a case of getting really lucky during those early floors. AWARs is good. So AWARs we're actually going to take with us to the next floor. What was this? 2 of hearts. Useless. I'm just going to pop that so I don't pick it up again. AWARs, so there's another system as well. Oh god, I forgot about the runes. So there are runes based on old Futhark / Futhork. I don't really remember which one. Which essentially allow for different effects as well. You unlock them by... We got a triple shot then. You unlock them by completing challenges, right? Whoa. I don't know what the hell happened there, but that wasn't entirely fair, huh? You unlock them by completing challenges. They have quite powerful effects as well. So we've got a choice to deal with the angel or deal with the devil because we picked up duality. We're going for the devil deal, simply because I want to try and get rid of some of our red hearts, and the devil deal will do that for you. If we have an item called Goat's Head as well, that keeps the doors open. Now, I'm not sure if Goat Head and duality work together. So you're not guaranteed to deal with the devil on each floor. You just get a percentage chance based on A, whether or not you take red heart damage, and B, whether or not you took one on the previous floor. So because we took one on the previous floor, our chance goes down to 33.75%. Then if we're hit by bosses or enemies, then it will go down. Hit by regular enemies, it goes down. I can't remember whether it goes down to 30% or down to 70%. I can't remember whether it goes down by 70% or to 70% is what I should have phrased that as. You've got Curse of the Lost again, because this game hates us. So what I'm going to do is show off this rune. So the AWAR's rune, let's just skip a floor. We're gone. We're out of there. So we are now on the Dank Depths 2. We've got the map, obviously from the shop we bought it, so now we can see where we're going. I'm not too concerned about... so one thing we got now is Curse of Darkness, which just makes it darker. Really not that big a deal. Ooh, but bad damage. That was actually genuinely terrible. Okay, Curse of Darkness, like I said, not a big deal. We've got so much HP anyway, I'm really not concerned. What was I talking about before? So yeah, the deal with the devil chance is not guaranteed. There are certain items that can increase chance, so an item called Goat Head guarantees that on every floor you will get a deal with the devil. Similarly, there's an item called Pentagram that increases it by, I believe, 15% chance. Certain characters have a slightly higher percent, so a character called Judas, because he starts with the Book of Belial, gives a slightly higher devil chance as well. Nice. Good homing shot there, my boy. Alright. Yeah, we've got apparently homing tiers right now from $3 bill. So these effects persist between rooms, but would just randomize on a timer, basically. So we've lost our homing shot now, and I think we just got regular shot again. But eventually that will flip into something else as well. It's kind of annoying, but I thought it would give us something different, something fun to see here. Some synergies, anyway, because you get very few synergies. A lot of them are obviously based around tiers, because items like Epic Petus are classified as special items. And whenever you pick up a special item, your chances of finding another special item is reduced quite heavily. Similarly, if you save and reload the game, your chances... I said I wasn't going to get into, like, exceptional Isaac meta here, which this is pretty inside baseball. This guy's invisible, and he's only visible during certain times or when he attacks. Glass Shard, I don't know what that does with this, so we're going to try it. Normally, this fires shrapnel, but clearly it does nothing this time around. Or maybe it's when you hit enemies. I don't remember. It's when the tiers hit enemies, they fire off shrapnel, so I guess this one does nothing. We've got another AWARs, which is good, because it means we can skip one of the ship floors, which we're coming up to in a second. Like, these are the floors after this one is where I get bored the most, because there are no shops and there are no item rooms unless you've got certain items. So they're very, very dull. But, you know, they're just the passage between this area and the next part of the game. The next fun part of the game, anyway. So what was I talking about before I rudely interrupted myself? Oh, yeah, special items. So if you reload and... if you pause the game and reload back into it, what will happen with that is... Oh, this is too much HP. What will happen with that is your chance of getting special items is reduced. I guess... I don't know why they would punish people for pausing and reloading the game. I honestly can't tell you. I don't know why we got that heart then. Oh, we've got an item called Fanny Pack there. Oh, it's on the left-hand side. It's sort of... What is this? I don't know what this does. This is a new item. Oh, it just opens all the doors. That's kind of cool. Useful for boss rush then. So we are going to take this item. This lets us buy our way through doors. Pay to play. You don't need keys. You can now just buy your way through doors. You do need it for chests still, though. BOGO bombs. When bombs drop, we get double. So I'm going to take that one. It's not fantastic by any stretch of imagination. It's pretty terrible, actually. It's outclassed by a lot of other items that do similar things. King Baby? Sure, let's get him. Why not? He's not great either. He doesn't really do much for us right now. Hang on, we've got double active items. How does that work? And how do we... So, control flips between them. So blank card is commonly considered one of the better active items in the game. So what blank card does is it uses for 4 charges your current card, rune, whatever you have in the bottom right hand slot without using it up. So let's take this one here, Ace of Diamonds, which is, I wanted one to demonstrate with, unfortunately we'll have to demonstrate out here. So what I can do now is press the spacebar. The Ace of Diamonds effect turns all items on the floor into coins. However, it didn't use the Ace of Diamonds, but we don't want to do that anyway. Ace of Cards AWAS is basically speedrun territory. Oh, sorry, blank card AWAS is speedrun territory. Shame we didn't get it on the first floor, rather than just as we're about to finish the goddamn game. You are new, what are you? I've not fought against these enemies before, actually seeing something new for me here. Not that they're particularly challenging or anything. Alright, so this is your first big fight, and if you were basically starting the game for your first time, this is where your game would end. But as you play through the game more and more, you unlock more floors and more content, essentially, because that's generally the basis of roguelike games, isn't it? Now, unfortunately, it's fairly difficult to... well, it's a little more challenging. I won't say it's fairly difficult by any stretch of the imagination. But it is fairly challenging to land shots with epic features against an enemy that isn't always... or pseudo-random in where it will spawn. I thought we got it then. Nice. One more hit. Excuse me. Well, there we go. Apparently I just walked into her. So we want to take the Polaroid. Now, this is the item I was talking about that gives you invincibility if you're hit and have no red hearts. Unfortunately, we have no... well, we still have a lot of red hearts. Can we get rid of them? Okay, this is cool. So there are also, if you pick up certain item sets... you're invisible, boy, thank you. If you pick up certain item sets, there are transformations. These are 2 out of the 3 items we need for a transformation, which is Guppy. Whenever you do damage, flies will spawn. Now, bear in mind, we've also got the item Hive Mind. If you look on that top row there, the 5th item, which doubles the damage of our spiders and flies. Now, Guppy's head will just spawn flies for us when we put them down, which is obviously quite nice. And then Guppy's collar, when you're hit... oh, no, when you die, when you take a lethal hit, there's a 50% chance you come back to life, so it's fairly useless. But both are important items for that transformation. I'd love to show off the Guppy transformation for this so that you guys can see that. There are a lot of other items. Oh, man, Void. Yeah, we do want to avoid that. So, Void is a very mechanically dense item. It allows you to suck up items. If they're passive, you get a random stat boost, but you don't get the item effect. If they're active, the next time you use Void, you get that item effect, right? So if we suck that up, that will use the AWAS effect, but now it counts as blank card. Granted, it has more charges, but you can suck up as many items as you like. So, say we come across another active item, we suck that up, we'll get AWAS plus that new active item effect, so it's pretty nuts. Have I done anything? Well, we can't really leave anyway, and there's no boss rush, so let's disappear. Alright. So these are the boring floors. The Womb 1 and the Womb 2, or Utero 1, Utero 2, or Scarred Womb 1, Scarred Womb 2. That's another game mechanic. Each floor has 2 other variant types, as long as you're far enough through the game, which is very, very boring. So what we're going to do is quickly get enough charges on our item here to skip them, and then we're immediately going to go down to the final part of the game here. Because they're dull. They don't have any item rooms, so, I mean, they don't really contribute anything to run. They just only act as a challenge. So from a pure metagame perspective, they are very not good at all. Like, even worse than, you know, your regular floors. What is Endless Nameless? I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to leave it on the floor. I remember it vaguely having something to do with items on the floor, like you could leave and come back in, or something like that. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter anyway, because we're not going to take it. I don't want to introduce randomness to this run that is going to get me killed. So because we are on, or we're past the 6th floor, I believe boss trap rooms and enemy rooms have more waves. But I might be wrong on that one. That's just something that I think is right. It's something that's come back to me from the depths of my Isaac brain that I haven't accessed in a very long time. So that might be wrong. Anyway, it is an easy game, I will admit, when you have played a lot of it. Because like I said, a lot of it just becomes knowledge. Like knowing what items to take, knowing how to navigate around certain game mechanics. So the shops, for example, and knowing how to use the D6 effectively. When you've memorized all of that, when you've internalized it, and when you sort of just do it automatically, the game becomes very easy. Like we've taken less than a dozen hits on this entire run, which isn't fantastic. There's nothing to fucking brag about. But it does show that even if I haven't played this game for a year, or however long it's been since the booster pack started coming out, so we're now on the Scarred Womb. Do we need to kill the boss here? No. Yes, we do. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we do have to do this floor because this is another branching path. So whereas before we could have taken the Polaroid or the negative, this floor offers us a branching path where depending on which one of those items you took, unlocks even more of the game. So, like I said, these floors you can't get to unless, I believe, you defeat Mum 10 times. Then it unlocks these 2 floors. Not specifically the Scarred Room, just the regular room. The Scarred Room is a harder variant, essentially, that you unlock during the much later game. So, the Polaroid and the Negative give you access to either Sheol, Hell, or the Cathedral, Heaven. Because we've taken the Polaroid, we basically are going to go to the Cathedral, Heaven, where we fight a different boss. But if we can still go to Sheol, but after we beat Satan there, the game will just end because we've taken the Polaroid. Whereas if we've taken the Negative and we beat Satan down in Sheol, we unlock another floor. This boy is fast. Get out of here. We unlock another floor after that to continue our journey. Now, once again, we've got fucking Curse of the Lost. This game hates me, apparently, which is driving me nuts. I want to get down to the chest, which I think we're going to do without any sort of concern. By the way, King Baby is useless by himself. So what he does is when you go to fire, he'll stay still, which is very, very useful if you have a lot of familiars. Oh, this is going to be a hard room with Epic Fetus. What it does is, as you're firing, it will hold any other companions you've got still behind it. So if you've got companions that can block bullets, if you've got companions that can do a lot of damage but require a lot of charging and fire in a straight line, like Little Brim, this is good. Now, unfortunately, anyway, let me finish my King Baby thought before I go on to this next meta here. So if you've got a lot of enemies, as you're firing, you sort of set up a defensive wall and sort of hide around him. So all those companions are more effective anyway. Unfortunately, when you get past the 6th floor, you will take double damage. Part of that means that blood banks will now take 2 hearts, or a whole heart rather than 2 half hearts. What that means is we now can't get... So you have to be on half a heart. Okay, well, that finishes my train of thought there. You have to be on half a heart to get the effect of the Polaroid, or no red hearts at all by giving them all away in devil deals, etc. Luckily, we picked up half a heart there, so as you can see, when we get hit now at half a heart, we get that invincibility. Iframes, essentially, for those of you... There are iframes in the game already, but it's a much longer iframe duration for those of you who played... I suppose I was going to say specifically fighting games, but I guess any other game on the market ever. Invincibility frames, essentially. Okay, this is another not too fun room with Epic Fetus. Generally, Epic Fetus, although it does an absurd amount of damage against everything, is not good on rooms with either fast-moving enemies or lots of enemies. That's where it really falls short. Honestly, where the fuck am I? Where's the way out of here, my guy? We don't want to fight that. That's a boss rush room for a regular wooden chest, which is chances are at this stage going to give us shit. So we've got to be very careful now not to pick up any hearts, because that will ruin our invincibility we get from the Polaroid. Where do I go? Well, I guess it's this way. And of course, the longer you go through the game, the larger the floors get as well. So getting... Where? Oh, no, I was going to say, where the hell do we go? But it is over there. So blowing up beggars... or Shell Game give you an increased deal with the devil chance as well, because they're innocent souls that you're blowing up for financial gains. They drop items, essentially, I assume is the headcanon behind that. So being a naughty boy, I want to get another deal with the devil chance so we can permanently get rid of these hearts so that we are in a permanent state of the Polaroid invincibility. That would be incredibly nice. Goodbye. Matchstick increases bomb drops. Is it more useful than Liberty Cap? I'm not sure. Now we've got to fight the moon from Wiz and Liz, which is a great reference. Go and look that up. That's actually like a great reference, because that's exactly what it looks like, but nobody knows what the fuck the moon from Wiz and Liz is. Let's check out the curse room, see what they got in here. 2 dirty boys. Well, we've got homing tears, which does make aiming slightly easier. What is that? Bag lunch. I don't know what that is. It does say... Unfortunately, Isaac suffers from... Let's obfuscate as much information as possible to force people to play and learn how the items work. Which kind of works, because obviously, you know, you get used to how the items work, and it forces you to learn. From a purely, I guess, psychological perspective, you're like, hey, I know what that one does. Look at me, I'm a big old smart boy. Ah, I just picked up half a heart, speaking of not being a smart boy. Fuck it, I'm not going all the way back for some frames of invincibility when I don't plan on getting hit anyway. I'm too good at this game. That was a joke. We've taken 35 minutes to get to this floor. That was a joke. Please do not take that out of context. Okay. Let's get lots of more boys. We could go back and get it, as long as we've got half a heart, but it's not worth it. It's like a lot of effort. If it wasn't Curse of the Lost, I could be tempted, but I'm really not going to bother on this bloody floor. Right. More pills. I think we've found all of our... Oh, perks is good. Perks means that you only take half damage. Ace of Diamonds converts all to coins. Not really necessary. So yeah, perks means that it will cancel out the double damage effect. Oh, fuck me, it's a circle. It's a loop. Oh my god. this way, then? Okay, good. I hate Curse of the Lost. Honestly, for a while, I played with no curses in Isaac. Not because I needed the game to be easier, because I suck. Oh, lucky coins have a slight green tint to them now, do they? That's interesting. Not because I need the game to be easier or anything, but simply because I find it massively inconvenient. It's just horrible. It's just not a fun game mechanic, and that's one of the things I will really condemn Isaac for is Curse of the fucking Lost. If it was like you only got the map during the first room or something, fair enough, you know? But the fact that you permanently don't have it just sucks. Oh, God. Speaking of sucks. So, occasionally, you will not get a deal with the devil. You will get Krampus. Krampus is, you know, like the ultimate troll. The items he drops are actually okay. So he's dropped a lump of coal. Lump of coal makes your tears take more damage the further they've gone. So for us, it's useless. So I'm just going to avoid it. We could have re-rolled it, actually, which would have made way more sense. Because we could have got an item called Abaddon, which removes all of our red hearts. So that would have been fantastic. But I'm an idiot. So instead, we just got some stat boosts out of it. And I'm not even sure what we got out of it, to be honest with you. Alright, there are now 2 more levels from this stage. We've got the Cathedral, which is generally quite difficult. Well, let's be honest, it's not. It can be difficult if you don't have a good run. We have a good run, so I'm not too concerned. I'm going to stick with Blister, not because it's better than... It won't do anything, actually, with Epic Fetus. Just because sometimes Liberty Cap can give a negative effect, and I'm at the stage now where I'm like, we might as well just not have anything, because Liberty Cap is not going to give us anything measurable. Taking a lot of damage now because I'm getting impatient, because Curse of the Lost has made me, like, lose interest massively. It's not good. It's not good. Anyway, let's try and play a bit more cautiously. So we've got this time around Curse of the Unknown, which means that we don't know our hearts, essentially. We don't know how much HP we've got. So we're looking for the boss room, and there are certain there is a certain amount of information you can ascertain where the boss room has been. You can make an educated guess. So the boss room on the Cathedral always has to be a small square room. It always has to be a fair distance from your spawn point as well. So my guess is it's the room on the top left corner of the map. Just based on that, essentially. And it's most likely going to be true. The other place it could be is the room in the bottom right-hand corner at the very far end of that chain. Rosary Bead, I don't know what you do. Faith up. More Spirit Hearts, perhaps? Honestly, don't know off the top of my head. Anyway. So enemies obviously get harder the more you play as well. So these boys have flies around them, which protect them from bullets if a fly were to hit those bullets. But they also protect them from... Actually, there's no way to get rid of our health now, so we might as well just bloody take a health up. There's no way to get rid of our red hearts, I should say. So you don't get deals with the devil in the Cathedral, unsurprisingly. What was I saying? I don't remember. I don't remember what I was talking about. Anyway, it's not a big deal. Oh, right. Enemies get tougher. So that guy had a little fly that was flying around him, which deflects bullets, but he also fires homing shots and has a lot more HP. Now, it's very difficult to ascertain the HP of enemies when we're at this stage of the game with Epic Fetus, because our shots, even now, even though we picked up this item on the first floor, still wipe out enemies as soon as you hit them. It's not an item I would normally take because it changes the gameplay aspect of things so much. Like, rather than you focusing on dodging and getting a lot of shots out and you know, it becoming a war of attrition, instead it's like, you have to kill them faster than they kill you with Epic Fetus, which is very much the truth. You also have to be careful not to kill yourself. So I generally don't take it because it changes the game so much. It's a good item. It's one of the best items in the game, but I also find it a little bit boring. Like, part of the fun in Isaac is having specific builds. So, you know, one run you might get a crazy laser beam light show where you fire off 6 different laser beams in 8 different colors, or another one might be, another one where you shoot electric tears, which zap enemies and bounce between them. Or another one where you get, you know, lots of on-damage items. So you hit them with shards of glass. And then from the shards of glass, those tears split into 2 other tears, which hit and deal shards of glass damage as well. And things like that. So another boss is going to be fun with Epic Fetus. But we got lucky there. Okay. Alright. And let's quickly take out these fucking spiders. And although there might be runs where you get melee damage. Like, that's the thing. There are quite a few melee-based items. Not only can you get what are referred to as orbitals, so companions, essentially, like King Baby, that fly around you in a circular motion and move with you, you know, at your speed. You can get those, and those are... Oh, fuck me. Proves how long it's been since I've done this. Those can generally be considered very good as well, and can be used offensively. So you can go for what is a melee build. My god, I'm getting rinsed this time around. It shows how long it's been since I played Isaac, huh? I am absolutely destroyed. Right, I'm not going to take any more damage now, I've decided. Let's get my head in the game and stop talking about what's happening in the game. Doesn't help that Epic Fetus is kind of garbage. We didn't get any good synergies with it. We didn't get, like, big explosions or anything like that. This fight is normally very, very easy. I'm just very bad while trying to commentate at the same time. Trying to explain all the game mechanics whilst also managing Epic Fetus is not fun, because it's not a fun item for commentary. Anyway, you are dealt with. Let's get a heart, and let's bounce. Could have taken perks there, actually, to take half damage, but I'm saving it for this floor, and you'll see why. How many HP we got left? We've got more than enough to win, so I'm not concerned. So every chest in the chest, which is the name of this final floor, contains an item. We got some okay ones here. We got the relic, which is good because every 6 rooms, it will drop a spirit heart. I believe it's every 6 rooms. The other items are kind of garbage, so I'm going to re-roll them all. There is the Infinity, which lets you... will randomly turn into a different dice when you use it. Glaucoma is useless, I believe, with the bomb tier, so I'm just going to re-roll the rest. An Iron Bar just does bonus damage and a chance to stun. Book of Sin. Reusable item generator. Okay, so we got a battery for the D6, which is good, because we don't have any of these items either, because they're garbage. We got Box of Friends, Common Cold, Sister Maggie, all of which are still garbage. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go around the chest and farm up rooms. We're going to try and farm up another charge on our D6 so that we can re-roll those items into hopefully something good. So on the chest, every single room is a boss. Every single room in on this floor is a different boss, or apparently here, multiple different bosses. Big rooms in particular can contain like 3 different types of boss. Some bosses might not even be related. Some bosses might have a loose theme relating, so you might just get 3 demons in a room, for example, like Little Horn and Big Horn and the Adversary, or the Fallen one. I forget what his dead version is called. His posthumous version, I think, is the right word for it. I'm taking damage because I've lost interest. But they could be bosses from the later floors, or they could be bosses from the first floor, as we just saw there with Ragman. So whereas this room is fairly, well, still fairly difficult because of Epic Fetus, a lot of the time I'm going to take perks. In fact, I think it only lasts a room, doesn't it? So that might have been a mistake. Ooh, that's good. One of the best items in the game, if not the best item in the game, in my opinion. 2020. You shoot two shots rather than 1. So this will drop 2 missiles. As you can see, that is very powerful. This one, we had 4 bosses, and it's the Cage. The Cage is commonly considered one of the worst bosses in the game, and luckily, the 4 bosses basically have a quarter each of the health of regular Cage. Otherwise, he's one of the tankiest and hardest bosses in the game. Anyway, double Monstro 2. Okay, we got to be careful with these bullets, because the rockets do have knockback as well. So you do have to reposition them after you drop them on enemies. Whoa! That was an effective $4 bill there, giving us like quad shot, or double shot, or double triple shot, or something like that. Sinus infection booger tears, I don't think does anything with missiles. I'm going to take it anyway. Right, let's go and have a look at our items and give these a reroll, see what we can get. Okay, I'm going to pick this up and use it so we can get our big old spider boys. Honestly, so the Mitre is good because it's... What does the Mitre do? More chance at Spirit Hearts, I believe. I'd take Loki's Horns, which is a mistake. Just because let's have a bit of fun while we basically have won this one. Loki's Horns will occasionally, depending on your luck stat, fire tiers in... has a chance of, instead of spawning and firing 1 tier, or double tiers we've got now, it will actually spawn 4 different crosshairs. And this was actually what I was referring to earlier in the game when I said, let's... Oh my god, we've got Blank Card Yera. No fucking way. Well, it's been pointless now, huh? So this is a bone heart. They are like temporary red hearts, essentially. As long as the bone itself doesn't break, you can keep refilling it. Which came out with a new character that I haven't really played much with. I've completed the game with him, but besides that, I haven't really done much else. These boys are quite tanky. So we have a very infamous combination here in the form of Blank Card, which is currently stuck to be in our void, and Yera. Yera doubles items in a room, including... Oh god, there's Loki's Horns. Including chests as well, right? So if we get a chest spawn, we can use Blank Card Yera to double it, and then get another charge on Blank Card Yera, and then double those, giving us 4 chests. What is that? No. Oh, they've changed the way no looks. That stops you getting active items, which is actually quite nice, because we've already got 2 incredibly good active items. I should have actually switched over to my... Wait, that's Mr. Boom. That's not an active item. Wait, no, that's literally exactly what we needed. Okay, so we just got a blast damage upgrade. So as you can imagine, that I believe that works incredibly well with Epic Fetus. And also if we put down a regular bombs, they're bigger and do a big old boom. Anyway. Oh god, Loki's Horns. Help me. Loki's Horns is a horrible idea with Epic Fetus. Never take it. I was just being a big old dumb boy. Alright. 45-minute run. My god. That's actually absurd. Bearing in mind, I could probably do this. If I really tried, I could get a chest done in 20 minutes easy. No problem. But I did do a lot of explaining, a lot of stopping and starting and backtracking. But I want to try and do a 20-minute run just to sort of prove that I can at some stage. Because it's not as difficult as it sounds, even if it sounds difficult. Alright. Let's get another charge on this. I'm genuinely just going around and trying to show off this blank Cardiera. Unfortunately, it's not going to work because by the time we've actually got a chest spawn in, it's random on each room whether or not a chest will drop. And obviously, chests always contain items. We won't worry about it. I hope I can show it off in the future at some stage, though. Let's get this boy. Boom. Papa Fly. Sure. So Papa Fly is a fly that, funnily enough, follows you around and shoots bullets. He's actually very good. He's a fairly okay companion. Just basically like a turret is probably the right way to describe it. Alright, so I have a feeling, based on just the way the map looks, that this down here is the boss fight. And it is. So this is our final boss of the entire game. Potentially. There are 2 other hidden floors which we didn't see during this run besides Shoal and the chest. One is called the Blue Womb, or it's just called question mark, question mark, question mark. The other is called, I don't remember. Delirium, I think is the name of the floor, but I don't remember. Might just be called the Void. It's been a long time since I played it. This boss fight is essentially a harder version of the Isaac boss fight. But because I'm so good, I'm not going to take a single hit once. Or we've got so much HP apparently just dropping on the fucking floor that doesn't matter anyway. So rather than him going into a second stage where he fires those lasers, which are very, very easy to avoid, instead he spawns in a lot of extra flies. Oh my god, we got homing laser then. Did you see that? That was cool. Oh, we actually got it. So this is the final bonus floor. That's normally a final boss fight. This has a small chance of spawning as well, I believe. Or it's guaranteed now, I'm not sure. What is it called? It is called the Void. I have not fought the final boss of this floor in a very long time, and genuinely will probably die. I'll be honest with you. Because we've got very low HP now, because I've been incredibly reckless, but also because it's, from what I remember, an incredibly difficult boss fight. So I'll see what I can do, but I'm not making any promises. So the Void is not a good floor. I generally don't bother with it, because it's fairly boring, in my opinion. The final boss is called Delirium. And you'll sort of see what he's got going for him. This floor is very boring, I'm going to be honest. It's very boring. Basically, it'll spawn in random rooms from each floor. And it'll also, at random points, as we saw just then, basically flash up screens of random stages of the run. Which is, it's very weird. It's a weird floor, but it's supposed to show, the big metaphor is, right, Isaac climbs into a chest to avoid his mother, and then suffocates to death. And this is what happens during his suffocation. This is him going delirious and seeing lots of different things and hallucinating, basically. So this is the point where Isaac is dying in his chest. This is in the Binding of Isaac lore, like behind the scenes. So this is all what he's imagining while he's inside the chest, and this final bit here is where he's finally started dying of oxygen deprivation, essentially. Because his mother was trying to kill him, because she was basically like, I think in the lore she's essentially supposed to be like schizophrenic, essentially. Here's the voice of God who tells her to kill her son. What I really love, by the way, is... What I really love, by the way, is when you have the biggest floor in the game that's completely random, and you have Curse of the Lost. That is a great feature. I love that a lot. That is definitely my favorite feature in particular. I may be tempted to turn on no curses for the future, because they're just shit, aren't they? I cannot, like, if there was just no Curse of the Lost, fine. If, you know what, here's a better compromise. If there was a mod that was a curse every floor, but you cannot get Curse of the Lost, fine. I would take that happily. Curse of the Lost just reduces your fun, because you have to backtrack so much. And the fun of Isaac is obviously the combat, along with the synergies as well. Neither of which you can get if you've already cleared a floor and you're trying to find the fucking way out. Anyway, this is a secret room. It's not. Oh my god, I've been bamboozled. So certain rooms will almost always be... Well, I won't say that. You sort of notice very particular archetypes of rooms that have secret room potential is probably the right way to phrase it. So... Normally, that room there with 2 fires between, on a regular floor, I would put money on that being a secret room, but I guess because we're on a random floor here, where up could be down, left could be right, and I honestly don't know which way I'm fucking going anymore. It's kind of difficult to tell, especially without the map, too. A pop-up. These boys are the same as those other ones. They'll only pop up if they're trying to shoot at you. So this is going to be fun. Alright. We get a lot of HP because of that cross following us around, by the way, the relic, which is why I was so glad we got it. Okay, you know what is worrying? There are, not only is there a true final boss, but there are also fake boss doors that could just be any random boss. So this right here could be the final boss, or it could just be a random boss. And whether or not it is entirely random. We don't want either of those items. It's Gish. So this is not the final boss. Gish is just another boss that we didn't get to see, because there are more bosses than what we've seen. Obviously, it's random, pulling from a pool of about, I'd probably say about 40 bosses at this stage. Gish is just another version of Monstro, basically. Do we want that? Not really, but I could... Yeah, fuck it. You know what? Why not? This is the Curse of the Tower. It's not really a curse as it describes itself as, but basically if you're hit, bombs will spawn all over the room. Because we have Mr. Mega, that's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. Potentially to us as well, though. Help me! Oh, God, this was a mistake. That's probably going to get me killed more likely than the end boss, I'll be honest with you. Well, more reason to not get a hit then, huh? So we're now at 5 tiers, which is the lowest your tier stat can get, which means Mr. Mega, nope, the Boom, whatever it's called, Epic Fetus, there we go, good God. Blue Baby again, for fuck's sake. Bear with, I've got to fight this guy again. Now we got Loki's horns occasionally. I picked up some really dumb items that I would never take if this was like a serious run, I guess is the right word for it. Help me. Ooh. Loki's horns also does not aim like a regular one. It aims on the diagonal. So it's fairly difficult to... I'm going to die to... Don't do that mid-fight, for the love of God. I'm going to die to this fucking Curse of the Tower that I picked up because I'm a fool. Belly button lets you hold a second trinket, which happens to be Brown Cat, which occasionally you make explosions. Oh, God, the cage. Okay. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Actually, a lot to worry about. I don't think I could have even dodged that if I wanted to. We're Guppy. We're Guppy now. That's Dead Cat. So it reduces you down to 1 red heart, which was probably a horrible idea. But it's given us the Guppy transformation. So whenever we do damage, we spawn flies. Which is awesome because we have Hive Mind. We may have... Okay, so things are starting to flip into a situation where we've almost got a game-breaking run. So there are certain item permutations, very, very, very rarely, whereby you can become invincible but still deal damage. There's an item called Nordleaf. Nordleaf means if you stand still, you are invincible. But with it, you can't shoot. Or while you're invincible, you can't shoot. Otherwise, you stop being invincible. So if you get that and some passive damage, like, for example, flies from Guppy, or... King Baby, not King Baby, sorry, the turret one, or anything like that, it essentially allows you to have permanent invincibility without any risk whatsoever. There's another item that's quite common with Nordleaf called Daddy Longlegs, which is essentially a companion that is at the top of the screen and he'll stomp on enemies. It's just basically how it works. Oh God, we could have to go anywhere at this point. Okay, that's another dead end. This could genuinely be over an hour. If I'd have known this video was going to be over an hour when I started, I wouldn't have done it. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I would not have done it. But here we are. Almost 1 hour later. We'll make sure today's videos are all done. I don't think I've done thumbnails yet. And they're coming out in like 40 minutes. So, I mean, we'll get it done within 40 minutes. I fucking hope. But, you know, with Curse of the Lost, nothing is guaranteed. Try to maneuver Loki's horns there so it actually works in our favor. What was our item that we sucked up with, Void again? Oh, it's Blank Card. Okay, that's fairly useless. But so the Devil doubles your damage, or doesn't double your damage, but gives you bonus damage for a room. So I'm saving that for when we find the final boss of this floor, which could be another 4 hours because of fucking Curse of the Lost. Worst part of Isaac. Makes me, like if this was a regular run I was doing, I would just quit now. I genuinely would. But you know what? I promised the people. All right. This is sort of running out of things to say here. You sort of know what's happening, I hope. Just basically the same shit going on every sort of few seconds here. We're getting a lot of Spirit Hearts there, which is quite nice. Ooh. Oh, we can't do anything with them, unfortunately, because we've only got 1 red heart now. So I'm going to blow him the fuck up. Oh, Spirit. Bone Heart. I don't know if Bone Heart counts as red heart, but any HP is good HP at this stage, so I'll take it. Piss off. Okay. Could be the boss. It is! Oh my God, we're free. Well, we're not. We're either going to... So basically, the reason why Dead Cat is good is because it gives you 9 more lives, right? Now, this boss, as you can see, is fairly absurd. It gives you 9 more lives, right? That is good because if you are starting the game, you get 9 more lives. Obviously, those easy floors are very easy to survive, or those first floors are very easy to survive without taking any damage whatsoever. So if you get Dead Cat and survive, you've got a 9 life... and obviously get a little more HP. You've got the 9 lives bonus to give you a lot of sort of safety nets. But not only that, you can... Sorry, I'm focusing on so much here. you can also pick up some more HP during those early floors and still make it very survivable. I probably would not advise to take it on the final floor here. Oh, fuck me. So, okay, this is going okay, but it's not... So, the issue is, this is a lot of people complained about this when this boss first came out. Delirium can telefrag you. He can teleport to right next to you, or exactly where you are, and just deal damage, and there's fuck all you can do about it. And this was my big complaint when this bloody boss first came out, and it's still a complaint of mine. So I'm going to shut up for a second, or at least not talk quite so much. So I can focus on putting this idiot down. The issue is, we can't get close enough. If he's on the screen, he's within range to do damage. However, if he's not on the screen, we can't see where we have to aim. Normally with tiers, you can just sort of shoot in the general direction and guess. We're doing okay, though. At least I think so. Let's deal with some of these ads. Right, what the fuck? We know he's somewhere over there. Come on, where are you, little bitch? Right, there we go. What's this? The moon? Don't use the moon. The moon teleports you to a secret room on the floor, which would not be ideal, because then it would reset this whole boss fight. Oh, okay, shit. Where are my tears going? There we go. I'm actually doing okay. I did much better than I thought, seeing as I haven't fought this guy in bloody ages. It's all about just remembering 1,000 things at once, and then you're good. Epic fetus on this fight is horrible, because it's a lot to consider dodging anyway, but enough to also put me off of considering aiming my bullets all manually as well. He's dead. Okay. That was fun. Not too bad, seeing as I haven't picked up Isaac in years. I've not fought this boss genuinely since I completed it for the new character, the booster pack, at which point I did about 6 runs. 69 coins, 69 bombs. That couldn't be any more perfect. That's Binding of Isaac. My god. And there you go, that's him choking to get death in the chest. Anyway, we'll skip that because that's, you know, story. If you want the story, buy the game, you big loser. Thank you for watching. Man, I feel like I need to just never record again today. That's it. That's not the life out of me. No CK2 today. It's cancelled.